right, and we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, Barn on 11970. And as always, I'd like to start my video by thanking each and every one of you for taking the time to listen to what I have to say, whether you're watching this currently live, watching it days, weeks, or months later. I hope what I say resonates and helps you to think in a different way. And with that being said, today is May 23rd, 2017, 6:57 or 6:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will show the relevance of why I'm showing the necklace that I'm showing in the image. Now, if you've been watching my videos for the past couple of weeks, you'd see there's been a transition of the direction I've been going with my channel. I don't believe in being stagnant. I believe in changing things and growing and reaching different levels. And those of you who know my channel know that I make and sell orgone pyramids and things like that. And I wanted to make something for myself. I'm usually spending my time making pyramids for other people, and I decided, you know what, I want to make something for myself. So the image that you see in the screen is actually a necklace that I made for myself. And I want to talk about this because, as you can see by the title of this video, it talks about facing your inner demons and why this is actually a good thing. Now, I've decided I'm going to be selling this necklace as well. So there's a link in the description if you want to check it out. This one's filled with crystals and stones, and I want to explain to you what it did for me. And I also want to warn people that this necklace is not for just anyone. You have to be at a higher level to be able to wear a necklace like this because of the high vibrational stones and crystals that are in this. But let me first talk about what it did for me before I describe anything about it. And of course, this is only for people that resonate with this kind of stuff. Not everybody is going to be at that level, and that's okay. It's the difference between somebody in kindergarten and somebody in their, fourth year of college. They're going to be at different levels, and that's perfectly fine. Each person has their level that they're comfortable with and progress with. So, with that being said, I wanted a necklace for myself that had high vibrational energies. And I did a lot of research on the type of crystals and stones, and I made this necklace for myself. And as soon as I wore it, it was a very interesting situation, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for it. And I definitely would not have been able to wear this years ago because of what it will do for you. And whether you believe in this stuff, I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I'm not here to, sell you something you may not understand. But what it did for me, as soon as I started wearing it, I noticed my mood change. Now, I thought, higher vibrational energy, it's going to uplift you, it's going to raise you up spiritually. And I wasn't prepared for what it actually was going to do, but I was able to understand it. Because I've talked about in several videos recently how you could take negativity and turn it into something positive. Now, one of the things we all do is we tend to hold back emotions and anger and bad situations. We're taught to suck in your gut, hold it in, and, big boys don't cry and all this stuff. We're told and taught mainly, especially as men, I mean, women do it too, to hold in our emotions. There's a lot of inner demons that we have that we store up over time. And if anything, it starts to build up negative energy in our body, and that's why we break down. That's why we get sick. We have pains and things like that, because it's a storage of negative energy. So when I put on this necklace that I made for myself, I thought, it's going to raise my vibration. I'm going to feel happier and everything, and it did just the opposite. I noticed as soon as I put it on, I got in a really bad mood at first. And then I started reflecting on things like my father's death. And there was a situation that happened when my father died. Now, those of you who may or may not know about this happened back in 2012. My father and mother got divorced when I was 10. My father got remarried and moved away to, I think, West Virginia. We weren't very close for a long time, but for years he was down there. And in 2012, he got a divorce, and he wanted to move back to New York to kind of rekindle things with me. I met him once. He ended up dying in a fire. And the day that we did the funeral, and afterwards we went to my grandparents, his father's house, it was well, I'm not going to say what town, but I parked on a part of the road in front of this person's house, and it was, cars are supposed to be parked in a certain direction. And I wasn't paying attention because I was grieving the loss of my father that particular day. We had to go get the urns and everything for him because he wanted to be cremated. And there was this person that came out of their house, like, you got to move your car. And I just lost it. I was screaming at this person. I'm like, my father just died, and you're worried about like the position of my car. I mean, I literally wanted to fight this guy. That's how much emotion and how ridiculous it was. And the funny part is my family said I was definitely not out of line because this person was coming out yelling and screaming at me. And even after I told him my father just died, he didn't even care. But what I felt was, as I was driving to go DJ that night wearing this necklace, I started thinking about that and that anger and that emotion and that pain of losing my father. And then when I went to bed later on that night, I actually had my first nightmares. Now, I don't have nightmares. I haven't had nightmares since I was a kid. And I used to always kind of brag to people. It's like, when I go to sleep, I usually look forward to it because I have great dreams and everything. But this necklace gave me these intense dreams. Those of you who watch my channel know I'm an animal lover. You could see in my last video what happened with that bird. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's definitely a spiritual experience for me. And this dream I had that night was a dream of I was on some long road, and there were these alien-like creatures that were just chewing these other animals alive, and they were screaming in pain, and it was really affecting me. Now you'd think, wow, Chris, why would you want to wear a necklace that did stuff like that? And I realized these are all pains. These are all things, negative things in my body that I've been holding and ignoring. And it helped get them out to the surface. And because I was at a certain level where I realized that negativity, if you see it for a learning lesson, once you face it, you can get rid of it. So after I dealt with those emotions, I felt so much better. I felt more enlightened. So it's kind of funny. It's almost like that, be careful what you wish for, you may get it. Because I made myself, and that's the image on the screen, this orgone necklace. And I'll go through all the materials in it because it's a very high energy crystal necklace that I made for myself. And I decided I'm going to sell it to people who are interested, but I will warn people, anybody that's at a lower vibrational level may not want to wear this because some of these crystals, energy-wise, are very intense. And if you don't know how to handle the situations, it can definitely be a bad experience. But if you see it for what it is and understand that negativity, if you deal with it and get past it, it no longer has a need to be with you anymore, and you actually get rid of it. Our mistakes is we learn to hold things in, which doesn't get rid of them, it just keeps them stagnant. It's like piling your garbage into your basement. You may not be able to see it, and you may be able to store it there for a while, but left there for long enough time, it will create damage, and at the very least, a very bad odor. So the idea is to face your fears, face your negativity, face your inner demons, and you will progress to another level and get to the very thing that you want. So let me show you some of the, well, I'll talk about the entire thing of this necklace that I made for myself. I was originally just going to make it for myself, and then I realized if people are interested in this, obviously I'll give the ingredients, so if you want to make yourself one, you can. But this is actually a fairly expensive necklace when you see the ingredients. So I'll go from the top and go around and tell you what's in it. And the link is in the description if you want to check it out. The very top, you'll see a light green glass-like type of stone. That's moldavite. Now, moldavite is actually a meteorite, and it is a very powerful, high vibrational stone. They actually warn people that if you're not at a higher vibrational energy, you really don't want to even hold that stone because it will affect you. So going to the left, well, to the right, which I think you might see it reverse, but you'll see it's like a whiter kind of stone. It's actually a purplish white. That's angelite. It's another high energy. To the right of that at 3 o'clock would be a black tourmaline. The next down at around 4 or 5 o'clock would be fulgurite. Now what fulgurite is when lightning strikes sand, it actually burns the sand and it causes this tube-like structure. and I have plenty of that. So that's fulgurite. The green at the bottom, that is malachite, which that's one of my favorite stones. I absolutely love that. The blue is kyanite. The top where you see the pink is rhodochrosite. And then in the center, it's hard to see because of the image, because there's black in the background, and I'll explain what that is. But the center is a double terminated quartz crystal. So it shows the powerfulness of all of the crystals and stones. And again, these are all either protection, angelic, or high vibrational energy stones. So if you want to research these for yourself, you can go on many crystal or stone websites and they'll tell you about each and every one of them, and you'll see the energies that they have. And they're actually pretty expensive. Just that moldavite up top, that little tiny piece that's a little bit bigger than the size of a BB, probably 2 or 3 BBs combined, that's about a $30 piece. Just in that alone, it shows how expensive that stuff is. Not easy to get. Same thing with the double terminated crystal. So if you see in the metals in the background, there's copper, which is real copper, and I actually use silver nuggets. So those are all genuine silver nuggets. So I wanted to make it with very high vibrational energy as far as even the metals are concerned. And we both know that silver and copper are conductors of electricity. So with that, on the back, the black, that's actually magnetic sand. And then if you look, well, it's kind of, you can't see the back from here, but in the back of this necklace, I added selenite, which is a very high angelic stone, very high energy, shungite, which is very protective, and it's very good at EMF radiation protection, Herkimer diamonds, pink Himalayan salt, and there's also a neodymium magnet right in the center. So double terminated stone, it's a quartz crystal, double terminated, and it's very rare. If you've ever seen a quartz crystal and it has a point, this is a double terminated, which means it has points on both ends. So it's a rarer type of quartz crystal. They're very hard to find, and very small pieces, you're going to spend about anywhere from $15 to $30 just for one piece, basically the size of a dime. But most pointed crystals only have one point, and that's called a termination. It terminates at that to a point. So a double terminated crystal is a rarer, more powerful crystal. So that's what that is. And Lindsay Go says, it's safe to say I have no idea about crystals. Well, that's your opinion. I research it all the time, and I go based on many crystal websites. So if you want to believe that's the case, you have that choice to do that. And we're going to get rid of people that have negative, annotations. So it's safe to say you will no longer comment. So anyway, it helped as soon as I put this on. And again, I originally just made this for myself. I noticed, I was thinking, higher vibration, it's going to just make me feel in a better mood. It's going to uplift me. But it made me feel almost depressed. It made me remember a lot of things that emotionally I was holding down. And definitely the first night gave me nightmares. And if you're at a certain level where you can see where negativity is something that you can turn into good, it's actually a tool that says, here's stuff you don't really want. You're holding on to it for some strange reason. It's affecting you negatively. We're going to bring it to the surface where you can actually finally be able to deal with it and see it for what it is, and then you'll be able to get rid of it. And because we're taught our whole lives to suck everything in, to hold it all in, it's like drinking large quantities of alcohol. Your liver absorbs your alcohol, so you don't die. But if you drink too much or for a long period of time, eventually your liver gives out, and that's how you die. Or the same thing with your kidneys. You can only store so much in your body before it affects you physically and emotionally. So what I want to tell anybody out there, you could make your own necklace. You could just go to a therapist. You can just go and meditate or just reflect on some of your past, situations that made you sad or angry, frustrated, jealous, whatever. Any negativity in your life, if you actually face it, you're going to experience it. Because if you relive a traumatic moment of your life, a lot of times we try and push it down so we don't have to deal with it again. But that means it's always going to be there. It's going to continue to affect you, whether you physically or consciously see that or notice it or not. Because one of the things I've always said to my clients as a licensed massage therapist since 1996 is that when you hold into any kind of physical, mental emotion, it will affect you physically. It's been proven. This is not some superstition. So to get past your inner demons, you have to face them. And that's why they always say, face your fears. It's once you face them, they no longer can scare you. It's almost like, think about a magic trick. When you're a kid and a magician pulls a rabbit out of his hat, or let's say he saws a woman in half, you're amazed at that. You're like, wow, a woman went in the box, stuck her feet through one side, stuck her head through the other. They clearly took a saw, separated the two pieces, and yet she's still alive. That's amazing. But then you realize as you get older, I mean, spoiler alert, that there's actually two women in the box. And when the woman crawls in, she only crawls into one half of the section. And there's another woman on the other side that puts her legs out. So you're not amazed by the trick anymore. So it's the same thing with your emotions, especially negativity. Negativity is there to help you deal with something. And when you don't deal with it, it gets worse and worse, or at the very least, continually keeps coming back in your life. It's a cycle. And that's why many people turn to drugs and alcohol, or have anger management problems, or are very abusive to others or animals. It's because they have so much pain in their lives that they push down so far thinking, oh, well, if I out of sight, out of mind, thinking that's going to, make it go away. They never deal with it, so it stays with them for the rest of their lives. Because we're told, oh, if you cry, you're weak. And how many times have I had some of my trolls say, oh, Chris was over and emotional when I did, for example, the video about that raccoon. Yes, I was over emotional because I had empathy. I had sympathy for an animal, a fellow living creature. And so many people, well, few people, but there are plenty of people out there who will make fun of that, thinking that's a weakness. To me, having empathy for a living creature, having sympathy and wanting to care to the point where it makes you emotional is not a weakness. It's just another part of an experience of your life. And since we're all told to hold it in, you never get to express those things. I mean, look, for example, tears. If you actually research what comes out of your tears, a lot of it is things like saline and other toxic chemicals. So when you actually cry, because you ever hear somebody say, oh, you always feel better after a good cry. Well, when you cry, there is toxins in your tears. So you are literally extorting, getting rid of toxic chemicals from your body. So you actually will feel better. So if you want to hold into your emotions, you have every right to do so. But don't be surprised if you are not growing at a better level. Some people are very happy with that. Some people love their negativity, their anger, because it gives them pleasure. And for some reason, when I was watching some recommended videos the other day, like I say all the time, when you watch videos, you get recommendations from YouTube, and every now and then they'll just throw you a curveball of something that has nothing to do with the topics that you've been watching. And all of a sudden, I got in my recommendations people that were either in Vietnam or in World War II, and they were talking about their experiences in the war. And they were older people that were in the wars and experiencing what it was like to kill people. And many of these people said the same thing, that they said if they can compare murdering somebody to any other emotion, they said it was like making love, that the experience was that energetic, like the power of taking somebody. So it shows that there are some people that will take negativity and feast on it and craving it like a power. So not everybody is going to transcend. Not everybody is ready or willing or able to get to that next level. So it's not going to be for everybody. But especially the majority of people that come here regularly who are looking for that alternative way of thinking, because maybe the old ways that they thought of are not helping them and they're seeking out other directions. Because I'm sure I'm not the only channel people listen to. There are plenty of people, like I was talking about the other day about Alan Watts and maybe somebody like Bashar or somebody that just other people that get into other thoughts. It doesn't mean you have to take everything that they say 100%. Because my thing is, if somebody spews out 99% BS and 1% of it is useful for you, then it was actually a good thing because you just increased your abilities 1%. So I always try and take the best out of some kind of situation, no matter how crazy or silly it sounds. And if you face your negativity and your negative emotions and you see them for what they are as a learning lesson, and you don't need a necklace like mine, but of course, if people are ready for it, they can have them or make these kind of things themselves. It will help you deal with them. So I'm not going to make this video very long. In the link in the description, there's a link if you want to check out that necklace. I am going to be making them for sale if somebody wants them. Obviously, you can make your own because if you watch this video, I give the ingredients of everything in there. So if you want to get the materials yourself, make it yourself. Just be prepared to spend a lot of money because, like I said, just the Moldavite alone is going to be about $20 to $30 for that one little piece. But since I buy everything in bulk, I can actually get a pretty decent deal on it. But you can make your own. And I even have a video. It's called The Best Video to Make Your Own Orgone Pyramids, where, yes, I make and sell them, but I also teach you how to make them. And if you research about crystals and stones, you can learn about each one's energetic properties and utilize them to your own advantage and help yourself grow. Now, of course, if you don't believe in those things, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be for everybody, and it's not made for everybody. It's like, somebody in kindergarten is not going to want to discuss, physics. So it's everybody just at different levels. So I love wearing this necklace. I'm so glad I made it for myself. I love the fact that it brought out emotions that I maybe forgot about or suppressed deep down, and I actually got them out and dealt with them. So for me, it did what I wanted. But like I said, be careful what you wish for, because if you get something like this or do your own thing and expect there to be just positive, loving experiences, be careful. It's not going to be for everybody. So I want to thank everybody. A quick question. Michelle says, do you need a machine of any type to make things like this? No, you don't need any machine. I actually have a video that teaches you how to do it. Basically, you need a mold. You need to get yourself resin. Simlar 41 casting resin is what I use. You need the mold. You need mold release. You need the crystals, you need the stones, and basically you just need a lot of time because it takes hours to make these things. It's not something easy. But I do have a video about that. It's called the best video to make your own Orgone pyramids. So, that's the funny part. People think, some people say, oh, you're doing this just to sell stuff. I'm like, well, nothing wrong with earning a living. But I also teach people how to make them, so they don't have to buy them from me. You can buy them from anybody. I'm just trying to point out to those who are at that level to realize, because you need to realize that there is energy coming from crystals and stones. This is stuff they've been talking about for thousands of years, so this is not some brand new concept. There's abilities to do so. So I'm going to end the video now. If you missed a large majority of this video, it will upload in probably about 25 minutes to a half hour. Rewatch it from the beginning so you could see the whole thing. Check out the link. I also make organic products if you're interested in that. I make everything custom made myself. And I hope you learned something from this. So if you did, thumbs up always are appreciated because it helps support my channel, because YouTube is not going to get my channel out there. As a matter of fact, as soon as this video and all of my videos upload, they block it automatically from several countries. I don't know which ones, but I have videos that prove this. So sharing my videos, posting them on your social networks is definitely going to help. Hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. Check out some of my other videos. And I hope you learned something from this video. So leave your comments once it uploads. Thank you to everybody that posts in the live chat. I always appreciate that. And be good to each other. And deal with your anger. Deal with your negativity. Get it out. Face it. Confront it. And take charge of it. And you'd be amazed at how quickly it will dissipate. And your life will get to that next level you've been looking for. So thanks for watching. Have a great night. And I will see you all soon.